everybody. Welcome into the Early Edge and 5 more best bets for the night in sports. And as you know, this is an up and down type of business, but we want to know how good you are. We're just a few weeks away from March Madness, and we want to know if you can beat the very best, me and M Squared. And then the others like Frick. No, not Frick. I love Frick, but Frack. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's all about brackets. Come lock in your spot now for the 2023 Early Edge March Madness Bracket Challenge. It's all for free, for tournament glory, for legacy, and prizes too. Simply scan that QR code on your screen right now, or you can go to tinyurl.com/theearlyedge to lock in your spot right now. I'm already locked in. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to beat everybody. Now, in the chat already, somebody said it best, and I can't find it because there's too many people, but they said it's Frick and Frack time. Except when Frack goes 1-3, what do we do? How do we pick it up? How do we raise the level of our game on a Wednesday? Well, I think you all will love the answer to that. Let's bring in the stars of the show. And last week in her debut, she was a perfect 2-0 and cashed like 15 minutes into the game. Amazing Grace Remington is back. Thank you for gracing us today. It's been a long week without you. How are you, my dear?
Oh, man, I missed you guys. And I got to say, thank you for the support, the love, everybody who's a part of the SportsLine community. You guys are blowing up my Twitter, so I'm happy to be back.
We are ecstatic to have you back. And look at the chat right now. Everybody, amazing Grace, Capper Taylor. Oh, look at Reed. Look at Sean. Everybody loves you. Now, what you don't see is a bunch of love for EC, and we will address that momentarily. All right? Now, this morning on the morning show, there were a few check marks. And as always, my man on the money line with Napoli coming through yet again. So, Specty, if you don't mind, start us off today, please.
I'm glad to start us off. And as you know, our data science team, we're always trying to make some more models, add more depth to our coverage on those models. And so we're going to go to the Europa League Man United money line plus 125. Our model has this as a 1.7 to 1.0 score line. Man United with a 51% chance to cover that. Both teams are playing extremely well, but there are two reasons why I like Man United. The first is Marcus Rashford. He has been scoring goals at a crazy rate, 76 minutes per goal in the Europa League. The next closest in efficiency is at 102. I actually don't mind a little sprinkle on Marcus Rashford, anytime goal scorer at plus 130. The second reason, though, is Barcelona will be missing Pedri and Gavi, both two young players who changed Barcelona from an attacking midfield to more of a defensive midfield, and they just won't be the same controlling the ball and possession, especially when they are at Manchester United. That's why we're going Man United money line plus 125. Then a game that is today at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We thought the U.S. women's soccer could use some representation. So we are going to the She Believes Cup, USA versus Brazil, over 2.5 goals at minus 135. Our models got this at a two goals for the U.S., 1.1 for Brazil. The U.S. women have kept a clean sheet the entire time. They went 2-0, scored 2-0 against Canada and 1-0 against Japan. However, in the last 6 matchups, 4 of them have had both teams score. So the women's, we are going to have. I'm sorry, I'm struggling today, guys. We're going to have over 2.5 goals at minus 135.
Hey, Specty, it's okay. You're giving out 2 instead of 1. You're throwing off your comfort zone. It's okay.
Don't know what's happening to me today, guys. I apologize. We'll get it back next time.
Apologize for what? You have nothing to apologize for. All right, before I get to EC, I got to address something. Big Cheesy 707, you know I love you. However, when you throw something in the chat that you know nothing about, I'm going to address it. If there was a live sports betting show that was paying cappers, you know Coach would bounce. I've already made it very public. I wouldn't even take the call when they called me a year ago. Why would I leave for a show? I would never go to live, not in a million years, not for $1 million, ever. Quote me on that. It's not competition. It's not real. I only want to do real stuff. Now, when you go 2-0 on your first time on the show, you've earned the maestro spot. You've earned the right to go last. So, Grace, hang tight because I need to address my little situation over here, EC. Last night, now, I've got to admit, I had a little fun with this because I bought it down to 146.
Oh, I'm glad that's one of us.
So when it hit 147 with 4 seconds to go in the game, all I could think about was you throwing something against the wall. Did you do that?
No. Fortunately, I actually gave up on it. I thought it was dead. I mean, mathematically, it had no chance with like 10 minutes left. So I'm like, you know what? This is a loss. We're going to go get him with Marquette. That's fine. We're going to go 3-1 the rest of the day. So, okay, I look at the box score at the end, and I'm like, I almost wanted to, lose my dinner. And let's just put it that way. And then came Marquette, where I had to pay Joe $100 for a showdown because I don't know what happened there at the end of the game, but I needed a 3-pointer at the end, and that was garbage. So I lost that. I mean, I did win Texas. The fade Iowa State was good. And then my last pick was dreadful. San Jose State coach scored like 3 points in the last 6 minutes, and that was on the last shot of the game. They didn't score for 6 minutes. I had a shot. It's pathetic. Pathetic day.
They are on the early edge, no bet zone for a long time. We had San Jose +9 and the over, and they were terrible last night. We're not betting on San Jose State the rest of the year. I'm not going to allow it. You bring it to the show, I'm going to say no.
No.
I'm going to say no. All right, but that's what yesterday. And the thing I love about you, EC, is you just dust it off. You say, hey, we get back on the wagon again. A wagon is a new betting term I found out about yesterday, by the way. I didn't know about it. So you're back on the wagon today. So what do you have for us, big boy? The floor is yours.
All right, Coach, we got 4 today. We're going to fire again. We're going to see what happens. Now, I'm just presenting these as my logic. If you guys want to agree with me or you want to fade me, by all means, we're going to make money one way or the other. Okay, Illinois State and Drake. Love the Drake, hate the Drake. Seinfeld reference. Over 137.5. Drake has a 9-game win streak. And in those 9 games, they scored 82 or more 7 times. Illinois State lost 5 in a row, and they've given up more than 76 in each one of those games. So 76 plus 62, we hit that. Okay, cool. Drake, 6 of their last 7 over. Illinois State, 4 of their last 5 over. This one I feel good about. We're gonna put the early check mark there. This one I really love. South Florida and UCF over 141.5. South Florida on the season, thank you, SportsLine, is 10-1 to the over in road games. In their 7 conference road games, none, 0, have been lower than 149 total points combined. UCF has been over this number in their last 5 home games. And when these two teams played in January, it was 85-72. I think we're going to see another over with these two teams. I think this one is too light. I think this one goes in the 150s again. Now, little trivia question for you guys. Do you know where Queens University is? Because I didn't until this morning. Anybody know that? Queens?
I'm going to guess it's not Queens, New York.
I thought it was.
New York.
That's what I would have guessed. It's in Charlotte.
Really?
Oh my gosh,
Charlotte.
wait, I knew that. I literally used to drive by there every day. Okay, that was
Really?
bad. Yeah.
How do you not
That
know
was
that,
bad.
Grace?
That was really bad.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought it was in New York. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. They put a university in Queens. Like, there's a Manhattan. There's like a Iona. Great. We have Queens. Now they're playing Liberty. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really match up because Liberty's in Virginia. So I don't know why they'd be going up to New York to play. Anyways, the over is 145.5. I like that. Queens averages nearly 80 a game at home. Liberty 75. And in 5 of the last 6 Queens home games, the total has been more than 164 total points. Okay, we got one more for you. We know what happened. I don't want to get into it that much. We know what happened with Alabama yesterday. A lot of stuff that's not great. They're giving away 17 to South Carolina tonight on the road. Mike Tierney has a pick on the site. I agree with him. I got to take South Carolina with the points. They've covered in 4 of their last 5 games, and Bama has only beaten one team on the road by more than 17, and that is Mizzou, who they beat by 21 in January. I think this is more of a fade Alabama play, just considering the crowd is going to be hostile. So those are our 4 plays tonight, and please, God, we got to at least hit 3 of them.
Are you going to be surprised if Brandon Miller actually suits up and plays tonight?
No, he's going to play tonight, but I don't think you could play him at some point. I feel like they have to suspend him. You can't. It's just too much of a distraction, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I was shocked. I was shocked that at least he won't sit out for a couple of games just to let things die down a little bit. So we'll see. But the distraction angle, I like that a lot. All right, good. I also love it when you go, oh, let's put a check mark next to that because you know what usually happens when that happens.
Yes, I do.
All right. Now, you guys have been asking for her all week, every single day. When is Grace coming back? When is Grace coming back? I told you, as much as she can. But, she has more than earned the Maestro spot. 2-0 so far in her early edge career. So, Grace, floor is yours.
Woohoo. All right, let's go 2-0 again. I got a college basketball play. North Carolina laying 6 at Notre Dame. These two teams, as we all know, have been fade machines all season. So something's got to give here. And it's UNC. They actually have the motivation. They have to win out to make the tournament. Meanwhile, Notre Dame has a lame duck coach and no postseason aspirations. Last time they played was early January. The Irish hung around for a bit, but ultimately lost by 17. And since January 1st, they have one of the worst defensive efficiencies in the NCAA. I think UNC wins the rebound battle tonight, which obviously leads to more scoring opportunities. They're just not going to no-show in a game like this. And if they jump out to an early lead, I don't see Notre Dame overcoming that. So we're laying the 6 with UNC. My second pick, we are going to the XFL. I watched all the game. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you're happy. Oh, that was a lit weekend. I don't know how many people were jumping around their living rooms, yelling at the TV, watching an XFL game instead of the NBA All-Star game. I was one of them. It's fine. You know what? You can judge me because I went 2-0. I made money. So yeah, go ahead and judge. Okay. St. Louis Battlehawks are 2.5-point underdog at the Seattle Sea Dragons. It's a short week for both teams, but there is a very slight rest advantage. The Battlehawks had the afternoon slate on Sunday. Sea Dragons played in the primetime game. They also had to travel coast to coast, whereas Battlehawks were in the same time zone. Two completely different emotions coming into this one. Battlehawks came back from a 12-point deficit to win by 3 in the final minutes of the game. Sea Dragons led the entire game and then blew it in the fourth quarter. The Battlehawks comeback, that's because of AJ McCarron. Yes, he still exists. He was clutch when it mattered. Scoring, or he converted a 4th and 15, that new fun rule, instead of an onside kick, then led the game-winning drive. Ben DiNucci, the quarterback on the other side, awful when it mattered. Threw a pick 6, another INT, and then lost the fumble. So before these odds even came out, I would have rated the Battlehawks higher than the Sea Dragons. Home field advantage isn't really a thing right now. So the fact that I found the Battlehawks to cover 2.5 at plus odds, really good find. But I would take them on the money line too.
You're damn right. They have the biggest following in the XFL, and it's not close. But Grace, I have a bonus question for you.
Okay.
So today the ratings came out for the XFL for week number 1, and they compared them to 2020, and they're about half. So I started thinking, what is different between the first week this year and 2020 when the ratings were higher?
I mean, no one had anything to do during the year 2020 because we were all stuck at home.
No,
but I think this
because it got cut because of COVID.
I know.
What would that be, EC?
Well, you weren't calling the games.
Oh
my gosh, were you on them, Coach?
I hadn't even thought about that, EC.
Oh, of course not. No,
come back.
No. Grace, I'm the answer to a trivia.
That would be epic.
Who is the only person walking God's green earth? He did walk right into that one. That was part of XFL number 1 in 2001, XFL number 2.0 in 2020. That would be yours truly. The only person, 20 years apart.
Wow.
You think they called me this time? No. And you see what happens.
Coach,
you see what happens.
I want to say this.
Lemons? It's because they actually wanted you.
I know.
I was actually dating, believe it or not, I was dating a girl who lived in Southern California during XFL number 2. And I dragged her to a game in Carson. And I had a big bet on the LA Wildcats, I think they were, because it was U of A. So, I mean, I'm sitting there. I didn't tell her I had a bet on the game, but I'm sitting there sweating out Josh Johnson against Cardale Jones. I'll tell you, the product was great. But when you were going to an XFL game degenning with a girl you're dating at the time, it was an all-time moment for me.
What number date was that? I just have to know.
It was no, we were fairly established at that point. I had come in town, and so I convinced her to, hey, let's drive up to Carson and go to this game. And somehow she stuck around for a little bit longer. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Did you notice what he just said? We were fairly established when I came into town.
You might have been calling that game, Coach. Were you calling?
I did the pregame show, the award-winning pregame show is what
he
I
needed you as his wingman.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. All right. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here is the recap. Courtesy of AB on the ones and the twos today. EC, 4 big plays. Illinois State, Drake, over 137.5. South Florida, UCF, over 141.5. And Liberty and Queens, not from New York, over 145.5. And then South Carolina, we are fading Alabama tonight, plus 17. Then the speculator, 2 big plays. Man United, they've been playing fantastic soccer. They really, really have. And then women's soccer tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. United States, Brazil, over 2.5. And then Amazing Grace is on 2 plays as well. North Carolina on the road in South Bend to play Notre Dame, 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight. And the St. Louis Battlehawks, that game is on Thursday, plus 2.5. Do not forget that the Early Wedge, our brand new golf show, is in your feed right now. If you haven't watched it yet or live at 3 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, I encourage you to do that before the Honda Classic tees off tomorrow morning. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these in-5 tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Amazing Grace, EC, the speculator, our 5-tool player, AB on the ones and the twos. I am the coach. Tell all your friends. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Turn on your notifications because we grind for you. Because we want to win with you right here at the Early Edge, where sometimes, yes, just sometimes, we do it in 5. Good luck.